unstable Top Gamer show. I don't even know the name of my own show. It's clearly this was all planned and planned ahead. Uh, Unfortunately, Chris was busy, so I grabbed together a bunch of the crew, including Mike the editor,
Hey, how's it going?
Jordan,
Hello.
Nathan,
Hey, we're talking Tron today, right?
Yeah,
God damn it.
and Marco to make sure that does not happen as much as I love Tron.
I'm really just here to provide a minimal amount of adult supervision. Otherwise, I'm just here to drink beer and provide hair tips for men, and I'm all out of hair tips.
That's actually what I say when I say I'll babysit my nephews. I'm just here for minimal adult supervision and drinking beer.
Yep, it works.
I'm
But
also
yeah.
here to make sure my internet connection actually works.
Yeah.
Although
It was like-
paying babysitters and beer, usually a bad idea.
That's debatable. Though Jordan was like, "Yeah, I want to test my new router extender, Wi-Fi extender." We're like, yeah, you can go ahead and test that. We don't know what we're doing. Nathan says he has a list of things, and I don't want to put together a list.
Neither did I. I just woke up.
You say that, then you're like, "Oh, I'm already done making the quiz." I'm like, "I didn't even ask you to do that. You just said, do you want me to do this?" And you're like, "I'm done."
I work fast.
No.
And
Hey,
if
Dennis is already here, by the way.
Oh,
Hey, Dennis,
cool.
good to see my friend.
if anybody
yeah,
thinks
Dennis.
Chris is unstructured, just imagine what it's like without him.
Without him and with maybe 8 hours of planning, which is going to be great here. But yeah, no, we have kind of a loose list of news. And then, as I said, we have Chris's quiz, which Nathan put together. And I've already seen one answer, and I'm already ashamed of him. So, yeah, he's very proud. So, Nathan.
It was
Insane.
Tron, wasn't it? God,
God
I
damn it.
I wish Tron came out in July.
Shut the fuck up.
It's just a quiz of 40 different pictures of Bruce Boxleitner.
Yeah.
How many of but how many of them will be from Tron and how many of them will be from Babylon 5?
Well, nobody watched Batman.
Probably zero from Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Well, then screw you. I haven't even started Babylon 5 yet, and I know that's the other thing.
I haven't even seen Babylon's 1 through 4.
God damn it. Even
Okay.
Well, Nathan, since you've actually done some research, what do you have for news to start us off?
Well, let's start off with, definitely a sad note. Ennio Morricone died at age 91. Holy shit, what a life, though.
Il Maestro.
91's a good run, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
And there were years when he did like 20 composition, like 20 movies in a year, 15 movies. That was not unusual for him. It's like for every great Ennio Morricone soundtrack, he made 15 other movies that year. That's just
Still good. Like,
You
I don't
like
think
the
he made a single bad
Kashimike
one.
of you like the Kashimike of composers.
The fact that The Thing soundtrack was nominated for a Razzie still fucking baffles me.
Yeah, don't
I
take
still
the Razzies.
I
I still don't know the
Razzie.
story
Seriously.
behind the thing, because I still think that's mostly John Carpenter.
Uh-huh.
You
Just
can get that mix.
before
There's
I move
some
on to my next
controversy there.
subject,
Moving on.
does anybody have a favorite Ennio Morricone score?
I hate to be
Good, the
basic,
bad, the ugly.
but yeah, the good, bad, and the ugly. That score is always like really stuck with me.
It's for me, it's Cinema Paradiso, but the theme song for Ad Ogni Costo is like, that's my favorite Morricone song. Like, I just need to be in a good mood. That one song will be like, I'm in a good mood now.
And a lot of the stuff that Tarantino pulled from other soundtracks to put in his films, he put a lot of really solid cuts in there. In the Kill Bill movies and so on.
Oh yeah,
My favorite has always been Once Upon a Time in the West, just because it's a spaghetti western.
that movie
version of
is so
Peter and the Wolf.
perfect. Yeah, it is. That movie
Dennis
is all
agrees with
around
you.
perfect for me.
That is
Oh,
very
yeah.
true.
Next in news, Mission Impossible 7, The Batman, Jurassic World 3, which do we need it? Fantastic Beasts
No.
3, another
We
remake
need that.
of Cinderella, and The Little Mermaid remake all resume filming in the UK. So
And I only really care about those first two.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jurassic World 3. I just had the Facebook memory show up like yesterday for Jurassic World 2, and it was like Yep, that was as terrible as everybody said it was going to be.
I actually just watched Jurassic Park like just before we got on here.
I haven't bothered with the second Jurassic World because that first one was just so aggressively mediocre. I was like, I'm just no.
I didn't hate the first as much as everyone else did. As much as I saw it with I saw it with some family members who I grew up watching Jurassic Park a lot with, and we all had a good time. But I totally get why a lot of people have issues with it. But I didn't feel. I was like, all right, well, I saw the first new one, and it didn't compel me to watch the second one, especially after I heard how bad it was. Especially after hearing Matt Frank totally rail on it on one of the gatherings. I'm like, okay, so I dodged the bullet.
Also, opening up early before you were supposed to. I mean, who could have foreseen that happening? You know,
oh God. Yeah.
It's almost like they made a whole series of movies about this very concept. If only they had watched their own movies.
You know, the funny thing is, I really didn't like.
And there was some guy in the producer's office going, "We spared no expense." Well, too fucking bad.
Yeah, I really didn't like Jurassic World at all. I was one of those people, but people were like, "No, it's got some really good action." It's like, no, it's got good stars. It's got a couple ideas, but it's nothing original. I really did not want to see Jurassic World 2. I was dating someone, and they're like, well, I want to see a movie. We went through the list. She's like, well, I kind of want to see that one. And I'm like, everyone I know says it was terrible. She's like, no, we should see it. 10 minutes in, she leans over to me. She's like, I'm so sorry.
Here's a hot take. I only like Jurassic Park 3. And I respect Jurassic Park 1. That's it. After that point,
respect it.
Yeah, I respect it. It's a well-made movie. I think it's totally off balance.
Is Jurassic World 3 the one where like the kid's helicopter goes down on the island and they
that's Jurassic Park 3.
Jurassic Park 3.
Jurassic Park 3. Yeah, that's the
one that exists.
Like, I've actually never seen 3.
Right?
It's not terrible, actually.
It's aliens with dinosaurs.
I actually quite like Jurassic Park 3.
I enjoy it. I mean, it's not the same as when people say they like Alien 3 because Alien 3 is fantastic. But Jurassic Park 3 is
I never saw the third one, and I haven't seen the second one since it came out on video and I rented back in like 97, 98.
Second one is Drek.
Are we still talking Aliens or Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park.
Because when you say fucking aliens is Trek, we're going to fight.
Oh, no, we don't have to fight.
Nathan can be wrong a lot, but not that wrong.
Yeah, he's not
put up with the Tron shit, but knocking aliens? No, sir. Not on my watch.
All right, and you want to know the one memorable thing I honestly remember more from The Lost World is how flatly Jeff Goldblum yells, "Sarah!" It's like, okay, yeah, that's only just your girlfriend you're trying to fucking save from possibly a dinosaur, but yeah, sound as disinterested as possible.
Look, if you have the sex appeal of Goldblum, you don't need to worry about the current girlfriend. You already have other options.
Very true.
Okay, next in news.
Good save, go.
Yeah, I got Jude Law is now playing Captain Hook in the Disney remake of Peter Pan by David Lowery, who did perhaps one of the better of the Disney remakes with Pete's Dragons.
I still need to see that.
I didn't see it. There's going to be Peter Pan's
and Pete's Dragon.
That's the guy did Ghost Story, right? The A24 Ghost Story.
Yeah, at the rate they're going, Disney is going to have remade, within a decade, they'll have remade every film they've ever made. And they're going to be like, fuck, all we got is Song of the South. We've done everything else.
Oh my God. When
we put ourselves in a corner. We need to make something new.
Quentin Tarantino to direct the remake of Song of the South.
No.
Song of the South with a bunch
Django and Shane 2 song.
I almost want that to happen.
I'm going to duck out of this
Remus Unchained.
No,
first
it's gonna, God, no.
The first R-rated Disney film ever from Quentin Tarantino.
I want the Song of the South, but with
Zippity doo-dah, motherfucker.
I want the negative stereotype of the white people Song of the South. That's
how weird is it though compared to like the fact that like David Lynch has done a G-rated Disney movie,
which is incredible. The straight story.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time a few months ago. The movie's awesome.
One of my favorite,
but it's really
good.
Then next up, Leigh Whannell.
Wait. Sorry, I had one question on that one. So was Dustin Hoffman busy because we need the best Hook? Come on.
I hate Hook, but I will say Dustin Hoffman and Bob Hoskins are like quality casting.
Yeah. Also, Dustin Hoffman, like kind of old now, kind of problematic.
Yeah.
but mostly old.
Moving on. Lee Winnell, who just recently wowed us with The Invisible Man and
Wowed you with
Upgrade.
Invisible Man. But
You like it?
Definitely I like Invisible Man except for the fact that I think it's 20 minutes too long.
I still haven't seen it. I mean,
Upgrade is
it's
amazing.
really good.
I fucking love Upgrade.
Well, anyways, he is set to direct the new Blumhouse Wolfman movie with Ryan Gosling in it.
Okay.
I cannot wait to be sexually attracted to a wolf.
Again.
Don't act like that's never happened.
Yeah.
Come on.
Can I just
You
say
guys never seen the Jack Nicholson Wolf?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
like the last
stretching
Wolfman,
it.
though.
With a score by Ennio Morricone?
Yeah.
That score was great, but Jack
Was this
Nicholson.
the
I think a screenplay by
fuckable.
Elaine May. There's a lot of weirdness on that Jack Nicholson Wolf movie.
I've
It's Mike
heard of
Nichols who
this.
directed it.
Jesus Christ.
It's
Right.
surprisingly a prestige picture that's kind of a werewolf movie, but
Yeah,
not really. It's weird. It was the 90s. People did weird shit. Jack Nicholson had lost a lot of weight. He thought, okay, this is my last chance to be sexy, and he played it to the hilt, and then he got fat again because he didn't care anymore.
I mostly associate it with there was a parody on an episode of The Critic where he turned into a chicken or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. It's awesome. I will say I am interested in this. Gosling is, of course, a great actor, and I honestly really dug The Invisible Man. Like, of all the Universal, original monsters or movies, I honestly, personally, really love The Invisible Man. I even wrote a paper about it in some of its special effects, how groundbreaking it was back then for a cinema history class. And I also just really liked the original H.G. Wells book. So I thought this was good. And I'm kind of curious to see what he'll do with this. And yeah, Upgrade was also fantastic. So this is definitely on my watch.
Are we glazing over the last Wolfman from 2010? I actually really liked that one. I thought
I liked it.
I thought Hopkins was having the best time he's had in a while.
Chewing
that
so
scenery.
much steam.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
Hopkins just like I think he's got says like, okay, do you see that scenery? Yeah. I'm going to eat all of that today.
It's just
think if I
snarl at everything, just keep doing it the whole movie, please, Sir Hopkins.
And yet come Westworld, he's like, okay, I'll be serious again.
I think if I have any issue, I kind of wish they got a different director than somebody who just did one of the Universal Monsters movies. Like, I love that Karen Kusama is doing Dracula right now.
That's right. I heard that recently.
Kind of wanted a little bit more diversity in their choice of directors, but at least I know Leigh Whannell likes practical effects, which is what you need for Wolfman.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course.
But with practical effects, that means they got to try to have a werewolf transformation that rivals an American Werewolf in London,
which won't happen.
No,
how long ago was
be all end all?
How long?
And he'll do what he did with Invisible Man. He'll just keep it hidden as long as possible.
we had that remake a long time ago, right? It was like Benicio del Toro.
Yeah,
Correct?
I think it's the Joe Johnston one.
Yeah,
it was in 2010.
2010.
Okay,
Joe
Johnston brothers talking about that. They fucking love that.
I think
if I recall correctly. I've never seen the whole thing. I've
never seen it either.
I just like. I know Benicio del Toro was like, that was a passion project for him because he like legit loves the Wolfman.
Yeah,
I don't see him as that character.
He might not have been the best part of that movie, but I will say Joe Johnston killed it with like the set design.
Yeah.
Like he redesigned the werewolf cane for the Wolfman, and like it was.
Did he take over for another director, or am I thinking of another Joe Johnston movie?
Well, he did take over for another director, Mark Romanek.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you.
The thing with that movie is he got fucked out of doing a practical werewolf, and he got everybody involved in it. And they're like, "No, CGI would be way cheaper, so we're going to do that." And that was the biggest issue with that movie.
Gotcha.
Right. Because I think they brought Rick Baker, and then they were like, "We're sorry, Rick, we're not going to use it." I'm like,
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
You don't hire Rick Baker and then say we're not going to do that. That happened on the Thing prequel with like Gillis and Woodruff. Those guys are legends.
Yeah.
And, like these are guys who've worked a ton of great movies. They came up under Stan Winston and they've done all the Alien films. Then they're like, yeah, your work looks good, but now we're going to just digitally remove it all.
Yeah.
It's like, what a waste.
I know, yeah, Rick Baker's a
really
legend.
is.
You
The
know?
other issue with that movie for me was it was kind of the one where I realized when Hugo Weaving was starting to become a caricature of himself as a villain. It's like, really? Hugo Weaving's the bad guy who's out to get the main character in this movie? Go figure. Oh, look at him trying to chew scenery. No, Anthony Hopkins.
No, he probably was looking at Hopkins going, holy shit, there, but for the grace of God, go on.
No, I have to unhinge my jaw further. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Next up in news, the creator of Euphoria filmed a secret movie during the pandemic with John David Washington and Zendaya. It's called Malcolm and Mary. And let me see if I got any plot.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I see other artists like finding a way to continue being creative during the quarantine any way possible. It's interesting to see how that kind of thing works out.
Yeah.
They don't really have a description of the plot, but it's the marriage story and deals with a lot of social themes involving the pandemic right now. So I'm probably going to assume it's about a dissolving marriage.
It actually sounds like a pretty timely movie. So I'll be curious to see how that goes about, or just be like, that seems pretty fucking horribly dated. But
it'll be like a marriage story, only done through Zoom conferences.
Probably, yeah. It's probably just like it'll be like the Unfriended of murder mysteries.
But will it deal with the pandemic better than the Parks and Rec special reunion?
Probably won't be as funny.
What was that criticized or?
No, I'm saying that's
okay.
the best dealing with the pandemic in media that I've seen.
Okay. I misunderstood what you're saying.
I am very curious about this. Honestly, I haven't seen Euphoria yet, but even reading, I was like, all right, that's boosted that up my list just a little bit.
Fair enough.
It's actually next on my list of next. And Jordan, you'll have a lot to say on this. Batwoman has cast their new lead, Javicia Leslie. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah,
is going to be playing a named Ryan Wilder, who is described as likable and messy and goofy and untamed and pretty much nothing like Ruby Rose.
I am very curious about her because I honestly never really heard about her. The only notable thing was God Friended Me on CBS, which which got shit canned recently, and I honestly just didn't bother with that series. But apparently, she'd been a guest star on a couple of things I watched. Didn't quite fully remember her, but I am curious to see how this goes because the season 1 finale still very much has Kate Kane very heavily involved in the plot, so I am curious to see how that goes. Her being a former drug runner, I'm just like, well, there are questionable heroes. I mean, all across the board. So I can see a possible good redemption story with her in like, okay, I was all about that life, and now I got to be all about this life, and so. And I do appreciate they actually casted someone from the LGBTQ plus community. The actress herself is bisexual, and I'm very curious to see how this goes whenever season 2 comes back.
I haven't been following this story much. I mean, other than hearing about Ruby Rose leaving for whatever reason. Are they rewriting the character and this is a whole new person, or are they just pulling a Darren from Bewitched and just hoping we don't pay notice?
It's a whole new character.
It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And so far, there's only just been the one Batwoman, Kate Kane, but I'm behind on this particular series in DC, but the current Batman Beyond book actually has a current arc right now where it's like, oh, there's the Batwoman Beyond, and the whole
Doctor Who and just have her regenerate as a new Batwoman. That'd be cool. She has she has 9 lives instead of 13.
Yeah.
All right, that's Catwoman. Stop getting your characters.
I don't know how many lives bats have.
I know all of them.
Well, I mean, you just don't want to eat their heads because then you'll turn into Ozzy or get COVID. One or
I
both.
don't know the other.
I hate to say it like this, but in DC news I actually care about, the new Batman movie
Alec
is
Miracles
going to
says, "Hey,
have
Hey, Alec.
a spin-off
Yeah.
on HBO Max by Terrence Winter, produced by Matt Reeves.
Alex Winter? That'd be
Basically,
great.
yeah, Boardwalk Empire, Sopranos, for anybody who
Yeah,
doesn't know that already.
Boardwalk Empire being one of my absolute favorite things HBO's ever done.
Oh, for
It
sure.
doesn't have a title yet, but a lot of people are calling it Gotham Central. It's going to cover the police detectives working in the shadow while Batman is working. So pretty much a better version of Gotham. And they're saying they may get Jeffrey Wright for the role as James Gordon as the lead, hopefully.
Didn't they have that idea like a while ago?
He is playing Gordon in the film. Okay, the idea was it was back before what we got became Gotham, that horrible fucking show where the only redeeming where the only constant redeeming thing was the Penguin. And yeah, this sounds a lot more like, I'm sorry, Dan, I really couldn't get into it. I reviewed the first 2 seasons for a former podcast I was on, and I left because like I just said I can't fucking review this anymore, and they were like, okay, well then you're gone.
I had a roommate for the first season. We watched part of it because he was big into the Arrowverse, and I was like, that's okay. No, but he wanted to try more DC stuff, and he's like, well, how's this? I'm like, it's okay. He's like, I don't know, I'm kind of digging. I'm like, cool, I'm moving out.
But Gotham Central was a fantastic comic by DC from the late 90s and the early 2000s. Started off by Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker. Sorry,
Nice. I never
and it honestly did a good job. Now I will, and I always thought this could be a good idea. I always had a dream in my head of maybe running a show like that. But this news is a bit mixed right now because on one hand, I'm like, okay, Terrence Winter fucking loved Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire, and I feel like they can actually nail it this time. But also, it's like, hey, DC, could you please read the room right now when it comes to police?
I mean, Gotham without Batman is like going to order a cheeseburger and telling them to hold the cheese. You're taking out like the main thing I came for. I never could get excited about.
Also, Gotham. you're telling DC to read the room. They didn't read the room on Zack Snyder till he literally had to quit because
that is true.
Yeah,
but also there are compelling Batman stories where Batman isn't even the main focus, or in it very little. But yeah, I want a good Gotham Central adaptation. But also, I do remember one of the earlier story arcs was Bullock being investigated by Internal Affairs for excessive force.
Which in Gotham is,
I think if anything, they've made cover the corruption. But I'm interested just because of Terrence Winter and the people involved, and I have a lot of faith in the Matt Reeves Batman series. But
I am too.
That's another fucking show I gotta watch.
I will say Gotham Central is also notable for being a great catalyst for the Renee Montoya character. That's where she publicly came out as a lesbian, and just awesome, great representation. I do highly recommend the original comics.
Very cool.
All right, moving on to news, and Marco rest. Tron beat everybody. I don't know. Stargirl is being renewed for season 2 and is moving from CW to DC Universe. DC show.
Actually, it's moving from DC Universe to the CW.
Sorry, I read that completely wrong.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah. I'm loving Stargirl right now. And yeah, that's curious because it is honestly great to see DC actually do a great live action family show type.
I'm still surprised it's not on HBO Max, and that's the weirdest part of this.
Yeah, because they're moving everything to HBO Max eventually, right?
Stargirl was
slowly.
Stargirl was kicking about and getting done before HBO Max was even a thing, and so I'm a little worried about moving to CW. I like the Arrowverse, very well. But I'm afraid about what some of the budget constraints might be because the show honestly does look really good and has some top-notch stuff. But I am worried about how stark a difference it might be going from DC Universe to CW. I mean, hell, CW even got the broadcast rights for the one season of Swamp Thing, and I'll actually tune into at least the pilot to see how they edit that for TV. Yeah. Even if that gains interest for a second season of Swamp Thing, which I hope there could be, because that show was actually good.
There was a lot of talk that the reason why Swamp Thing didn't even get its full run is because it was one of those things that DC didn't understand. Like a lot of things that DC or Warner is putting.
It was either that, I heard so many conflicting things. It was either that or something about the filming incentive tax stuff in North Carolina, which is where they were filming.
I think that one got disproven because that was the one that some people tried to toe the line, the ones who really defend Warner. Warner basically has proven to me, at least many, many times over, they don't understand the DC properties. And that's been their biggest fault.
Well, it depends on the people they get behind them. I mean, sometimes you'll really nail it and get a Doom Patrol or a Harley Quinn, and other times you're gonna get some stupid shit like Titans and Gotham. Honestly,
I mean, what is you holding up?
He's saying it's muted because
dog is barking. It looked like Marco at one point, and then I realized is that Mirko? I thought he was saying a note to me.
Marco, bark like a dog. Okay.
But now I see that it's muted. Okay. Well, it was blowing out. I couldn't see the detail.
Yeah, the dog was losing his mind, and the little speech balloon, it's whole doodle gene that reads, I ruin streams.
And honestly, Stargirl right now is one of the things where they actually got the right people, because Jeff Johns is the one that actually created this character, and he's the one in charge of the show.
See, what I'd say about, say, Swamp Thing is I think James Wan did a great job with the horror elements of that.
Absolutely.
I know that.
Did he do that show?
Yeah, James Wan produced Swamp Thing and created it. And I actually liked it a lot. I know Chris had a lot more issues with in the middle, but and thankfully it seems like their relationship with DC is still good. I think he's still working on that Aquaman cartoon.
Yeah, and the Aquaman sequel. And honestly, even the pilot of Swamp Thing had one of my favorite horror sequences in some time, like especially body horror.
Good. Yeah, that's
body horror.
Watched it. I really want to.
A body horror sequence in the morgue that legitimately made me go, "Oh shit!"
It is a scene that rivals The Thing for practical effect.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've been curious to watch that Swamp Thing show because, when I was a little kid, I used to see the old '90s show that was on USA back in the day.
And then even Adrian Barbosa.
Adrian
Barbo. Yeah, sorry.
Barbo.
The closest,
All right, they get her.
Woman I ever fell in love with.
She shows up in the series. I also just mainly know her as the voice of Catwoman. So.
I was also just thinking about Adrian Barbosa. The way I said it. You start believing in swamp things.
This is like the porn parody. You better start believing in swamp things. You're in one.
I don't know. I mean, wasn't she kind of in?
I know.
Yeah, you know what I was going.
Yes,
fuck y'all. I'm on a nocturnal
you missed the
schedule.
target
this is
by
like
a little bit.
8 a.m. for me. Anyways, 30 Rock has a reunion coming out next Thursday. That covers a bit of the pandemic. I watched the YouTube clip of it, and I mean, I like 30 Rock.
It's almost worth getting the trial of Peacock and then canceling it right after.
I think we're looking to do that at my in our apartment pretty soon because Rio Haas is such a big fan of that show Psych. So you get that movie coming out.
Yeah, and it's good. He got me into it.
He got me fairly into it. I'm pretty much gonna do the free tier of Peacock. Although if the fucking Psych movie sequel is behind that paywall, it's like fine, I'll do a free fucking trial.
Yeah, do a free trial and then bail. Yeah.
And I guess I'll watch the 30 Rock because I do love 30 Rock. But yeah, I definitely was only considering Peacock because I love Psych as much as Riojas does, and I kind of need that movie.
Okay, so now in more
Frozen
news, because Brian Fuller has been talking about it for a while. But there was just a live stream with the cast of Hannibal, and they're now more confident than ever about a season 4 happening because of the new. They're still sort of struggling with the rights for Silence of the Lambs characters, which absolutely sucks because they got that Clarice Starling procedural show
on CBS.
They can't legally have Hannibal Lecter in it.
What?
So
yeah, that's what happens when you sell off your rights.
Well, wait, they can't legally have Hannibal Lecter in the Claire Reese show they're producing, or
no,
in the Claire
show. Yeah,
that's what happens when you start a series.
Okay, I was about to say
when you start a series that takes place between 2 books.
Yeah,
because that's supposed to be like between what Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs, and they're like, oh, we'll never get far enough to where we'll actually hit the Silence of the Lambs timeline. Well, now they're there. They should have thought about that. That's what you get for doing stories where you don't need them. You know?
Nathan, this is getting a season 4 on Netflix, right? If it's happening.
Yeah, if it happens, they're talking Netflix as being the
I
for it.
Am so confused. I adore Hannibal.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic show that should have had more viewers.
And here's the thing: I actually love where it ended. I thought that was a pitch perfect series finale for it, and like the last moments, I was like, and you know, and added bonus, they put in Shushi and the Banshees. I was like, this is absolutely stunning. I'm both still conflicted. Like, I want them to do Silence of the Lambs, but I'm also like, this is actually a great place where you ended it. I don't want it anymore.
And there's nothing to be gained by redoing Silence of the Lambs. There's nothing to be gained by it.
You could also argue, well, I mean, yeah, there's nothing really to be gained out of redoing Red Dragon for like the 3rd time. It was well done.
Yeah, and also I personally would like to see more of Raul Esparza as Dr. Chilton because I fucking love Raul Esparza.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say, Dennis, as far as cancel happy, they're canceling more, but I will also say Netflix let a lot of things run sometimes a bit longer than they should as well.
Yeah, they let Hemlock Grove go on for that long.
I'm of 2 minds on that where I'm like, yeah, some things that are really good did get canceled. But they also still were like, yeah, go ahead and wrap up the way you want to, but this is your last season. They're not like assholes.
Give us Mystery Science Theater season 3, goddammit.
Yeah, and they're still talking about possibly getting Ellen Page as Clarice. Should they have the?
Oh, that would be so
that's
great.
really interesting casting. I would totally go for that.
And they're talking if they do season 4, it would be set more like beachside side after the cliffhanger. But yeah,
and
anywho,
Thomas Harris ruined the character of Clarice in the book Hannibal. So it's like I really don't want them to go any further. It's like,
well, what's good about this show is that they pretty much have adapted Hannibal way before Clarice ever came into play. So they can just go wherever the fuck they want after the end.
So she doesn't become like his mindless sex slave. Because I hate it.
Yeah, no, they've already had Mason Verger and all that.
Okay.
And speaking of Mason Verger, like this, I love Hannibal for how sophisticated and like eloquent and brutally violent it is. But there was one scene with Mason where that was so stupidly over the top. I fucking loved it. Where he just made a kid cry just so he could soak up a tear on a tissue paper, and he added it to a martini. And I was just like,
yeah,
I absolutely love this man.
I'm actually kind of sick of the serial killer stuff. That after Silence of the Lambs, I know Thomas Harris was writing this in the 80s, and there was, not Red Dragon, but whatever they called it before then.
Manhunter,
which is a great movie. But like by the 90s, it was like lots of TV shows and movies were ripping this off. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sick of glorified serial killers who have these elaborate backstories and unlimited budgets to art direct their crimes. I'm like, these guys are grubby motherfuckers. If you study real serial killers, they're not suave sophisticates. They're awful people, and we shouldn't be making movies about them anymore because it's so played out. But that's just my 2 cents.
That's fair. But Hannibal, for me, always found a way to make that shit just so gorgeous and so elaborate that I couldn't see anybody truly like being like, oh, I want to go out and do what he does, because it's fucking impossible. Like the dude caters a whole fucking soiree, then makes Body World exhibit afterwards.
I don't think that people are going to actually do it. I mean, like John Wayne Gacy, that guy was not clever enough to do anything like him. That dude was a piece of shit, and just basically one step above white trash. He's not sitting around listening to Verdi and sipping, champagne.
Not with that attitude, he's not.
I don't think anybody's going to imitate this stuff. I just kind of got tired of.
They're not neat freaks like Dexter tends to be.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Maybe Dexter helped piss me off, because that's a series that just kept getting worse.
I know, right? Yeah. I love the first couple seasons, and then especially that last season was fucking terrible.
That was at least an interesting twist on it, where it's like, oh, you're rooting for the villain now. Because he kills the other serial killers. And then Jimmy Smits then shows up and he's like, guess what? I'm a serial killer now. I'm like, fuck this show. I was
you tuned out after Jimmy Smits?
I mean, I went through the end. I went through the end. I was just like,
the last great season 2 was the John Lithgow one.
Just like 2 more seasons of Marco sitting there angry watching.
Oh, that was me too, Marco.
Oh no! When the last episode faded to black, I remember yelling in my bedroom, "What the fuck was that?"
I loved Dexter from the start, but yeah, I saw that final episode. I was like,
I texted you when it was over. Why am I finished watching it, Jordan? I finished watching it, and I texted you. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, and I thought I was actually, and I remember you texted me. I was like a few minutes away from the actual ending. Then I was like, I have wasted 7 years.
That's legendarily one of the worst series endings of all time. If
and rightfully so.
I will be controversial though.
And then Breaking Bad a couple weeks later handed Dexter his ass. Here's
the show. My favorite anecdotes about Dexter's ending is when the series finale premiered on Reddit, they actually, instead of having a thread to talk about the series finale, the top thread on there was just talking about the episode Ozymandias that came out on the same day.
Right. Which is like arguably one of the best episodes of that show.
Best episodes of television ever.
I will say I actually liked season 5 of Dexter, the one after John Lithgow. That, for me personally, is where
is that the one with Most Def?
No, that's the season after.
No, okay, and that one was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
I thought it should have ended with season 5. That's just me.
Right. Yeah. Okay, now getting to more prescient news, prescient. I don't know, more important, I guess.
You could break out the
give a fuck
thesaurus
about
if
this
you
guy.
wanted 5 minutes.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. Tucker Carlson's top writer resigns after secretly posting racist and sexist remarks in an online forum, surprising absolutely nobody.
Did Tucker Carlson say that was too tame for me, or?
I'm sorry, but see, you don't use enough slurs as much as I do.
What was
I cleaned it up for the show.
You guys would be.
I mean, I read the transcripts of.
Tucker Carlson is trash. Hey.
What really killed me was reading the actual stuff. I'm like, damn, too racist for Tucker Carlson. I'm like, whoa, holy shit.
What is too racist for Tucker Carlson? I'm actually genuinely curious about.
Even
look up the article. I am not gonna.
A grown-ass man who wore a bow tie well past his 40s.
No, I was gonna say I don't think it was too racist for Tucker Carlson. It's so much as that they crafted it better. It's that's what you would say if you didn't have to worry. And to be fair, I mean, I've hated Tucker Carlson since the early '90s when he was still rocking the bow tie and trying to make that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure, it's a really terrible
before
racist
Jon
comment.
Stewart tore him apart for it.
Sure, it's a really terrible racist comment, but as opposed to Tucker's delivery, it actually does have rhythm.
Yeah, he's like, it's basically the quiet parts versus the loud parts.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this guy speaks for Tucker Carlson. He's writing for him. But, how big of a surprise was it?
Tucker Carlson's proved himself to be very independently stupid on his own.
Yeah, he can write this horrible shit by himself.
Yeah.
But
and also, the only grown man who should still be wearing a bow tie is Matt Smith.
Have you seen this guy? The guy, I'm blanking on the name now, the guy who got fired, and they posted a photo.
I try not to.
And the meme going around was like, if nothing else, it said the master race is more aspirational than reality. I mean, the guy looks like a dweeb. And I'm like, man, you look like half the people I went to college with. You're a goofus. Why
Tucker Carlson looks like the guy Adrian Monk would have looked at and said, "You're a fucking nerd."
I mean, most hardcore conservatives who aren't living in a trailer home tend to look really doofusy and dweebish. And
I mean, it's just the talk versus the reality. And I'm like, you're giving women shit about their appearance online. Have you looked at yourself?
Yeah, have you looked at yeah, exactly.
It's like, none of us are in a position to where we can okay, here's the thing about the master race, the quote unquote master race. Every time I see this, and then I see the guy, and I'm like, really? You? And this is the same week.
You think you're genetically superior to anything?
Like if you showed up looking like Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago, or like one of the Hemsworth brothers in a Thor movie, I'm like, okay, you're evil, but you look the part.
You look like you get winded ordering a macchiato.
But these other guys, I'm like, those guys look winded. They look like they get winded trying to pronounce macchiato. This has too many vowels. It has too many sounds. Why can't you just serve me some American coffee?
I'm going to take a good guess in that Tucker Carlson's wife, her favorite position is doggy style. Just so she doesn't have to look at him.
You think they have sex?
Oh, how presumptuous of me!
He didn't say doggy style wasn't about with Tucker. It was in general.
Sex with Tucker Carlson is just the only lubricant you're gonna get is tears.
I didn't know Shane was a lubricant.
It actually,
for anybody who wants to see Tucker Carlson just get his ass handed to him, look up that clip of Jon Stewart on. Was it?
Oh, dude, that shit's glorious! I watched that just before.
Oh yeah,
and incidentally, shortly after, stop wearing the bow tie.
Yeah,
What he says, I know you're smart. Those bow ties are really hard to tie. And shortly after that, he stopped wearing them. But that was his trademark for years.
Tucker Carlson's wife has that on repeat to get her aroused.
That clip, that clip is an aphrodisiac.
I watch that at least once a year.
Oh yeah. God. All right.
Not sure. I
miss Jon Stewart.
Last thing I have in news: Andy Samberg is now talking about putting Brooklyn Nine-Nine on break for a little bit so that they restructure the show so they can feel better about it morally. He says in this interview,
how many black people did they beat up on that show?
Oh, come!
You didn't see the gas leak year?
I never watched that show.
Hey, there is no gas leak here. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I've heard good things about it, but I've never seen it.
They did kill
It's
Doug
a good
Judy.
show. The fact is, it's a show that portrays cops as lovable goofballs, and right now it's just not. I want to say relevant. What's what I'm looking for? It's not really appropriate, I guess.
What
to portray police officers as lovable goofballs when right now there's some real shit going on.
Yeah,
even if the cast of the show is ethically diverse, they got a very diverse cast. But
correction, not right now. There's some real shit going on. Right now, we're actually finally being aware of the real shit going on.
Oh, of course, yeah, you're right. I misspoke. Yeah, no things that the things that have come to light and are being much more discussed than they have been in the past.
But does anybody look to Brooklyn Nine-Nine as a serious expose
fuck
of
no.
the realities of the police force?
Personally, I think it's a little
same
crazy
with
that we are going to have
Batman,
that conversation because I think that shows harmless. But I get why people are like, we shouldn't be portraying police officers in any kind of light that's at all redeeming. If most police officers, at least as we're seeing more now than ever, are not being ethical. I can see where the complaint is, but at the same time, though, it's just a fucking sitcom, and it's a harmless one at that.
Yeah,
I will say,
I realize as a white guy, and I'm like probably the least qualified person to talk about that.
I really do enjoy Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and the more serious issued episodes they've done, I actually think have been handled very well. Like the Me Too episode they did, and even the one where Terry Cruz's character is actually racially profiled by another officer because he just saw him, walking his dog, and it's like, oh, and to bring it back around Dexter, it's the same guy that played Quinn on that show, who also was that dickhead cop in The Dark Knight Rises shooting at Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's like, are you just going to be an asshole cop throughout your career? Is that what you're going to do?
Right. I have a solution. At the end of every episode, they take a book out of G.I. Joe comic, the cartoon series, and they just do a little special bumper at the end. Like a little.
They would totally do that too.
It's like the more you know.
Push some
sandwiches.
All right, I accept
if you step on
but
a black man's neck for he'll stop breathing. In fact, this will be true no matter what color he is. The more you know.
But it's Terry Crews doing it to Peralta.
To just read more of the article. There really isn't like some big outrage or like, hey, cancel Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all. This is more of a choice by the writers' room.
Which I appreciate them at least being aware.
The thing is, the people complaining about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it seems to be a very small minority, but it's a vocal minority.
Ooh, don't say minority in this case.
In this interview, Andy Samberg says, we're taking a step back and the writers are all rethinking how we're going to move forward as well as the cast. We're all in touch and kind of discussing how you can make a comedy show about the police right now and find a way that you can find a way of doing that you can feel morally okay about it without glorifying them. I know that we'll figure it out, but it's definitely a challenge, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I think it's more their feelings on it as opposed to their concern about the audience of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know anyone was taking that show that seriously.
So I'm thinking not the audience.
I saw a couple posts like that, but again, like you're gonna find odd takes on anything if you go on social media.
It's very much a show that is actually well aware of its position right now, and it does have a dedicated fan base, which I'll happily be a part of. But yeah, I am very curious as to seeing how it'll go, even after how last season ended, since Peralta is now a dad and all that. So and I just thought, oh, that'll be a nice balance. How's he going to be a dad and also be this kind of brilliant fuck up cop?
Yeah.
But
so fake cops are doing a better job of reading the room than real cops.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
And also, if anything, I need more hilarious as hell.
I don't murder black people, but I just play a guy who does on TV. I get the upset. I get the frustration, and like when Dukes of Hazzard was like pulled off the air, I had mixed feelings about that because I loved that show as a kid, but I did not watch it critically as a child. Same thing with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I imagine a lot of people enjoy it without thinking about it in a critical sense, like how does this pertain to other issues happening in the society around me. Sure. Kudos for them if they're really rethinking. But what do you do other than cancel or like next season is, guess what? The joke is that they all quit the police force and now they're running a hotel in New Hampshire or something.
I mean, it might just end up kind of being like Archer, where they realized, oh, we have a spy agency called ISIS. What the fuck do we do at this point?
This kind of thing you got to do, Joshua. To address your thing, I mean, there was a lot of that concern already at that time for Hogan's Heroes. Actually, Werner Klemperer, who played Colonel Klink, is Jewish and was really concerned about making the Nazis look lighthearted and lovable. But instead, he said, no, I have to be an idiot. No matter what, Colonel Klink cannot be a success, cannot be a smart person. You have to prove that the Nazis were morons.
Right.
And that's why the only one... That's why Schultz is the only one who's a little bit lovable, because Schultz clearly isn't actually a Nazi. He's one of those guys who was conscripted in Germany under the idea of nationalism and just kind of didn't want to do anything evil or wrong. He just didn't know how to speak up. That's the most positive that show portrays.
I haven't seen Hogan's Heroes in a long time.
My dad is like watching Hogan's Heroes reruns around the clock.
Oh yeah, that's my dad too.
On like Sundance Channel.
It's complicated because you had a whole generation. I think the difference there is that you never know it to look at all the neo-Nazis around nowadays, but we kick their ass. It's we could make fun of them and they were never going to be that threatening because no, we kicked your all's ass.
World War II was pretty contemporary for everybody who's on that show at that time. It was not like it was something in the past, just like this. For them, it was like, we all lived through this.
Where it's like, well, you're the cops, but the cops are actually, in the media right now, and there's a lot of people who are unhappy. That's the big difference. Because with 9/9, you're talking about something that's contemporary, that's current, whereas, Hogan's Heroes had the distance of time. Unlike, Tarantino, they weren't rewriting history, per se. They were just fucking with it around a little bit,
Right.
It's a different scenario.
Very much so.
You're absolutely right.
But that's it for news. Unless somebody else has something in the chat. But
that's right.
I mean, real quick on that though, if you are looking to get your Andy Samberg fix, watch that movie Palm Springs on Hulu. That movie's really goddamn good.
I'm planning on watching it soon.
The dark, gritty reboot of Hogan's Heroes.
I just started watching She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and since there's very little episodes each season, I'm gonna work my way through that right now. I'm already pretty much nearly done with season 1.
I just finished Close Enough on HBO Max. That was really good.
Okay.
What else are you guys all watching? Ben, you watching anything or just burning the candle at all ends?
The latter right now. I'm trying to watch more things, and I've not actually gotten to watch as many things as I want to. More like put on like YouTube or Twitch and then pass out on the couch in my free time.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I recently finished season 3 of Killing Eve, and I really liked that. It was great. I'm very curious about season 4, but also I have new fashion goals because that suit Villanelle was wearing in the finale. I was like, I must have that. I want to wear it. I need it.
Prison Bank. Okay, good one, Bat 42. And Dot 1981X. Yes, I did that too a few months ago. That was a fun rewatch.
That's
has anyone seen this?
I think is the gritty reboot of Hogan's Heroes.
Has anyone seen the YouTube channel that does like Chris posted a while back? It's Star Trek TNG intakes, where the guy takes the outtakes and adds them into.
Those
are great. Those are stroke of genius. Where as an editor, I'm like, I like to do stupid editing experiments that I never put online, and I'm like, oh man, why didn't I think of that? That's a genius fucking idea.
Yeah, and I did.
I mean, all those outtakes have been available for years online and on DVD. It's just someone had the brilliant idea of like, why don't we just put them back in the scene like they were part of? So the scene starts serious, and suddenly the characters break and start talking weird, crazy shit, and then the scene goes back to normal, and you're like, it feels like a real episode.
The best
and someone has this vibe of like something like, say, like there's one that in particular that almost plays like a Zucker Brothers movie where like they're talking serious in the background. It's Worf and Jody high fiving.
Right.
I love to see people do that with like every show. Like I remember watching some of the outtakes for Breaking Bad, and there's one moment where Bryan Cranston just hands Jesse a dildo, and it's just like, handle it.
See, I feel like I should do something like that, like with like I remember watching outtakes of Twin Peaks recently when I was doing my rewatch, and I'm like, I should maybe try to do something like that as a editing experiment. Like I don't know, I just do these. The only dumb editing experiment I ever put on my YouTube channel was it was when the Queen of England was doing that speech about the COVID outbreak, and she was wearing a green dress. So I did it was like flipping through TV channels as she's talking.
Okay, one stupid editing thing I have done is there was a scene from Game of Thrones because I remember a friend being like, "Oh, it would be hilarious if this actual music was playing in it." It was a scene where I think it was about season 3 or 4. It involved Littlefinger and Sansa, but it's like Littlefinger looking at Sansa like as if he were looking at her mother, coming down all beautifully and shit on a staircase. And I was like, I'm gonna put that song. I'm pretty much gonna make that scene from She's All That and play "Kiss Me." And I was and I actually looked over it when I was done. I was like, "Oh shit, this actually worked."
Yeah, I edited the tank fight scene from The Last Crusade with "Staying Alive" playing in the background, and the punches throwing on top of the tank actually times up perfectly to "Staying Alive." And I'm like, why does this work?
I did it with "Only God Forgives," the big fight scene. "Only God Forgives." Set to All Star. I did one yesterday that I've only showed it to my roommate. I actually have it on my phone. So we all know that Weird Al Yankovic's always been pretty squeaky clean. There's a show he did on Nerdist's YouTube channel where he pretty much did the same thing he used to do on MTV, where he would re-edit music, or he would re-edit interviews with celebrities by changing the questions and putting the answers out of context. And there's one where he
ghosted him.
Yeah, and so he did one where the joke was he did a cut off "what the fuck," like "what the fuck," then cut to technical difficulties. But he also put out a video on the side going, "Hey, look, just so no one thinks I curse, here's to be actually saying what I actually said." It was "what the fudgesicle." So I did some sentence mixing with another sentence where he says someone has a stick up their butt. And I added to make it so it's Weird Al yelling "what the fuck." And I actually have it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see in here.
Sorry, a lot of traffic.
Here, okay, fast forward a little bit.
See, nice fresh donuts.
Okay.
Now, let's hear you sing some karaoke.
Now this is.
I don't really consider a Dunkin' Donut a fresh donut.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Little sentence mixing.
So Mike is the worst among us.
One last thing. I finished
ruined
my
your childhoods.
I finished my rewatch of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that is still one of the most perfect TV shows I will have ever seen.
What show?
Avatar: The Last Airbender. I finished my complete rewatch, and it is as beautiful now as it was when I first went through it. And honestly, I still say this. Parents or fans, if you're parents now, just please have your kids watch this show because it is very important. It'll teach them a lot of things. It'll show them that actual good can rise up against evil in many forms, be it imperialism, blind faith jingoism, propaganda, hate, fear. Just it is such a brilliantly done show. And one of the best character arcs ever with Zuko. I just adore this show.
Great show.
All right. Well,
I've seen a lot of people post about
anytime we talk about anime, I go have a cigarette.
Oh no, it's not anime, and I think we're gonna move past that because we're moving our usual time.
I was just looking for a good excuse to get out for something.
I know, and I like catching you off guard, Marco. Now you're stuck here.
We always kind of feel just go good time.
Now, if I were to leave, I'm gonna look like the asshole.
Exactly.
So it's time for Nathan's lightning round.
My lightning round quiz.
Oh, so echo.
Oh shit!
I heard hell echo.
Fix it. I'm gonna go get a beer while you fix that.
God damn, it's fixed.
Fix it.
Wow, they are really, really poorly designed audio share. Share your audio, and it doesn't go, oh yeah, we'll cancel out the audio that we're transmitting. We'll just copy all the audio. Coding is hard.
Made quiz.
Let's do this. I gotta put my useless film trivia knowledge.
I was gonna put up.
Some of these are so obvious, but others are absolutely not obvious. But a lot of movies have turned 10 to 40 years old that are.
So we gotta guess if they're 10, 20, 30 or 40 years?
No. Just guess what the movie is based off the
Yes.
image. Some of these are
Also-
so fucking easy.
Yeah. Also,
But-
Dennis, someday we'll get you back to Austin, or I'll send you some cool notes.
I guess send one of you guys like my whole library of Ren Stimpy background music, so you can use it for like these kind of segments.
Well, no, we can't because it's all copyrighted. That's the
Yeah.
issue.
No, it's public domain.
These have all turned 10 years old.
The
We-
Ren
I have-
Stimpy
I have
because I
public
use the
domain
Ren
stuff.
Stimpy stuff in a lot of our videos. It's public domain.
All right. So first one, Jordan. We're so
Oh,
sorry.
fuck
We're
you!
He did. That's what I said to him. That's what I said to him too.
Fuck. That I don't recognize this movie. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what this movie is. I don't recognize it. It
Is
looks.
Is it really an anniversary? Because I thought an anniversary was a celebration.
And that's what
Is it
I
really
said.
an anniversary if no one loves it?
So I'll say Nathan's response when I said, "Really? Fuck you." He goes, "Well, I didn't put Minions in there." I'm like, "Minions was better."
Oh, Minions
Oh.
was better.
I hate Minions, and I would have preferred this better.
Some
I
of
would
these
have
are
preferred
awful
Minions
movies.
better.
So wait,
Sorry.
Jordan, do you have a guess? I can't tell if you know what it is or not.
It's the last Airbender.
It is the last Airbender.
Yeah.
I feel like a dirty whore right now.
Good.
We all know that's Nathan in this case, so you're okay.
We all know that feeling.
Next up,
Oh, I'm gonna take a wild guess. Spiderweb Chronicles. I don't know.
Nathan. For the rest of these, I'm going to need you to basically say if they're correct because I can't even read the.
Oh,
the
that's
the-
totally fine.
Is this
Any more
the
guesses?
anniversary?
It
I
is.
have no idea
It
what
came
it
out
is.
in 2010.
2010, huh?
That does sound like 10 years ago. You're
I didn't
correct.
see this
Parts
movie.
of it were
That
shot
sounds
in
like
Austin.
exactly 10 years ago, Ben.
Oh, is it Predators?
You are correct, sir.
That 10 years
Oh!
ago.
Let's see. I don't even recognize that creature, but I saw Predators in the theater back in 2010. I just don't
I
recognize
did
it.
see Predators.
That's just how much I forgot about it.
It's been
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
This is going to be so
about it.
much easier once we get to the 30 and 40 year
We
mark.
talked about
Yeah.
it in our
All the
Slack,
movies
but
Marco actually knows.
I dug Predators.
Oh,
Oh, I know what this is, but I'll leave it for someone else. It took me a minute, but I got it. Did no one else getting it?
I know what it is. I'm letting someone else answer.
I don't know.
By all means, answer, Jordan.
Yeah.
Inception.
It isn't.
Oh,
Oh, this is
Oh.
actually really? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, turned 10 years old this
It
month.
takes a little
I
bit to put
haven't
together
watched
the
it in a
background,
long
what
time.
it could be, and then it is a very low res
Yeah.
picture of Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's the thing. Yeah, you can't really tell that that's Leo.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, boy.
Okay, that one's stumping, man.
The Old Man in the Sea.
I know this, but I can't remember it.
I don't know this one.
Is this the the Shyamalan thing?
No, that was
No.
like
Never
Really?
mind.
Village was like
2004.
2005.
I
you're right.
want to say it's the True Grit remake, but I feel like I'm wrong.
I don't think that's
No,
true.
sadly.
Yeah.
Some of these are a little
That's
bit more
that's
obscure.
2011,
You can
wasn't
go
it?
to the next frame.
Oh yeah, it was 2011. Sorry.
This is the movie Get Low with
Oh,
Robert Duvall.
shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I never
really
saw it.
great.
I did see it.
True story about a man who plans his own funeral.
Okay.
I
I
never
all
saw it.
aspired
I
to.
guess I knew of this movie. I just never saw it.
Yeah,
It's really
So,
good. Bill
so
Murray's-
really, any movie nobody's ever seen or given a shit about, we can celebrate its anniversary.
Yeah.
I mean, for
Okay.
Nathan, yes, that's why he wants. To
I thought you were talking
celebrate
about things
Tron.
that people celebrate.
That's why-
I cobbled this together in an hour, Marco.
This is why he
Fuck
wants to
off.
celebrate Tron Legacy.
You're a better man than
God damn it, Sean. I like Sean, but he doesn't like Sean.
I do like Tron. Tron Legacy has some. Is this the Sorcerer's Apprentice?
Yes, it is, sir.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even see that movie, but I'm like, that was 10 years ago. Somehow
I've never seen it either.
I didn't know that movie existed.
I heard it was actually pretty okay.
It's not
It's-
bad. The worst
boring.
thing about it is that like the beginning tells you like picture the scroll for Star Wars just said, oh, by the way, Darth Vader is his father, and Luke Skywalker will save the galaxy. All that's in the beginning.
It's
And then
Disney
the-
Sorcerer's Apprentice, so
This was
they basically
one-
made a movie off that like 5-minute sequence.
Was
from
the
Fantasia.
Apprentice Jay Baruchel?
Yes,
Yeah.
Jay Baruchel was
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse.
The only two things I remember is that one, this is
Fucking
like this was one of the more boring Cage outings, and Like his best moment was when he was disguised as a cop, and also, I honestly liked Alfred Molina just chewing scenery.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right,
Marco's like, I don't know what any of these things are, and I hate all this.
I vaguely remember thinking, I refused to watch this 10 years ago. Or
Hey, what
I
if we
didn't do it
took
at the
that?
time.
What if we took that one memorable thing from Fantasia and made it as boring as possible?
Yeah.
No, I already figured that.
It's a remake of the poster of Fantasia.
Oh. I got this from the poster, so I'm going to leave it for someone else, but now I recognize it directly from that.
Quarantine?
Yeah. I mean, you're
Wreck.
correct.
I was going to say it's Wreck.
You're
It's
both.
Wreck 2.
Ah!
Electric Boogaloo.
I mean,
Okay.
Mike, wasn't Quarantine also Wreck? Quarantine in
Quarantine is
It was a remake of
pretty
Wreck,
much
but
shot for shot remake. Of the
That's
first.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
when did
So
that
that's what I
come
was gonna
out?
give it to him.
I thought that was 2010 when the remake came out.
2008.
Yeah,
Oh, was it really
Quarantine
2008?
Yeah, Quarantine was 08.
That remake was bullshit because I'd already seen Wreck by the time that the remake was coming out, and
I
so I'm
love
like,
both.
you put the fucking ending in the trailer and it's the poster of the movie.
I love the
Yeah.
first Wreck 2 movies a
I
lot.
think I've seen Wreck
yeah.
too. I'm not sure.
And
though.
then 3 is the one where they use the other director from Rec 1 because it was a two director
Yeah.
team for 1.
Oh, for real?
and then 3
I
had
have
some
mixed-
issues.
I have mixed feelings. on
I'm
it.
so glad you're doing this because mediocre films are the only way I gauge decades.
Hey, you got
All
to
right.
celebrate everything. Oh, here's the bad one.
Since you're a young person, Nate, I'm gonna say High School Musical 3.
No.
I have no fucking idea.
I used to do worst of the years, and this was in my worst 2.
I'm still pretty disappointed in you. Anyone in
It's
our
not
audience must have
Glee
guessed
because that's
this
a
one.
TV show.
Is it-
I know there's a
it-
delay.
If it's Seltzerberg and
It is not one of those Friedberg and Seltzer.
Is this
okay.
the camp musical version of Village of the Damned?
Oh wait, is it Camp or Camp Sing Along? Whatever. Disney
No.
released?
Move on to the next frame.
I need to know what this movie is.
Oh god.
This is an
What?
awful film
I-
by the director
It was
of Mac.
like the lowest hanging
I was going for the lowest hanging fruit.
shit nobody saw.
Yeah, no, this movie is absolutely horrible. I was just seeing
I
if
didn't
anybody
think
knew it.
All right, Pete.
I've always heard of the other movies. I never heard of this one.
This
watching
one
this-
mixes.
Nathan, I always knew you had a deep film knowledge. I didn't know you were a sadist as well.
I am a sadist as well.
I guessed that one actually. But
right,
we're
those
moving up to
of
the
us-
20th.
This
Sorry,
one,
Jordan.
Did you
this
get
was
that
a
right?
scant month, so both of these you're probably going to get right away. But here is how dry July of 2000 was.
Okay.
2000? You mean 2011? Oh, 2001. You're right. Sorry, I'm bad at.
All right,
Oh.
X-Men.
X-Men.
The first X-Men, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and which is weird that that's 20 years old. It feels like
One
at
of
least
the-
2 years older.
Yeah, it's
One of the
it's
scenes
too
in that
old for-
movie that actually
Yeah,
aged
welcome to
well.
Growing Old.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 years old. Too old for Bryan Singer to really care about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Rios was watching highlights from some of the Superman movies, and he got some highlights from Superman Returns, and it was just nonstop Bryan Singer jokes, like Lois Lane faints, like, oh no, someone's fainting on a Bryan Singer line. It's okay, she's an adult woman, she's fine.
Okay. Oh Christ!
I
This
think
scene
you just said she's female. Period. I think she's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, just
See,
like-
No, Bryan
This
Singer's
scene
actually
does-
bisexual.
Is he
I know.
now? I've only
Yeah.
ever heard of him molesting boys, so
yeah.
I guess that's open-minded of him to molest members of both sexes.
There we go. See, this
Okay,
scene actually
yeah, sure, why
aged
not?
well, in my
Ugh,
opinion. Like,
I feel
out of
awful.
everything else in this
You should.
movie, like this is
I do.
one of the few scenes that actually does okay. Oh God, scary movie.
Not
Yeah,
another
scary
scary movie.
two?
Scary Movie 1. Actually,
What?
Scary
really-
Movie 1, I'm not a fan of this movie,
Oh
but
shit!
it was a
No.
fucking
I-
small month of movies.
Yeah.
And that movie led to pretty much the death of the spoof movie.
No,
No, it
the
did not.
third, the third
Yeah.
one on. One was actually pretty good for its time. It also led to ones like
I rewatched
Not
it
Another
out of
Teen
curiosity.
Movie, which was good.
No, but the
actually.
thing is, after Friedlander and that other dude, whatever, the guys who made
Yeah.
Freebird Seltzer.
Yeah, those guys came after this. Those are the guys who really killed the
Those
parody.
guys
That's
were
true.
one or two of those two were writers on this series. And they said, "Oh, we can do that for less money and with
we
less
don't even
effort."
have to. The difference is they no longer had to watch the movie to make fun of it. They could just watch the trailer.
Exactly. Whereas
I
these movies,
watched this for the first time in
And-
years last fall, and it's
The last two great like parody movies, honestly, has been Not Another Teen Movie and Walk Hard.
yeah, none of the teen movies great. And that's the
Well, Hot
thing.
Fuzz, dude. I mean,
The early scary movies were pretty okay. I mean, yes, they're very much products of their time, but the Wayans brothers at least understood the comedy they were trying to make,
I remember
and the
being kinda-
parody they were trying to make.
I remember being kind of let down by 3, which really bummed me out because I remember being really excited David Zucker was going to be taking over, and then it ended up being.
You see what David Zucker's done lately?
I did not see the last thing he did was that Michael Moore Republican
American
comedy.
Carol.
Yeah, they came out the same weekend as Religulous, and that's what I saw instead. So it was an interesting weekend for opposing viewpoints in theater.
Yeah, I mean, look, 3 has its moments. 3 is the last passable one, and that's because
Yeah.
it makes some good
Yeah.
Exorcist jokes. It has some good practical effects when they're doing
Leslie
effects.
Nielsen as president, of course, because it's David Zucker. He's got to have.
I
Leslie
don't think
Nielsen.
he's president in 3.
Was he?
Yeah, no, he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the DVD.
I mean, I haven't watched 3 since. Fuck, I don't even know how long.
No, I haven't watched it since high school, so it doesn't really fucking matter. So easy for
Ghost.
30th.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now we're going to get into my childhood, so this is going to get easier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Zuck-
Marco.
also, speaking of the Zucker brothers.
Yeah, I was like 2 in 1990, so.
All right,
I'm gonna
moving
Still
on.
knew Ghost right away. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, Nathan, choose next time if you're doing this.
I
Yeah, but you
purposely
only know
made
it
that
from
one
that
easy.
parody.
Harder pictures than Ghost of the pottery scene. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I like
Go for the most
Ghost.
iconic scene in the
That
movie.
was
I
pretty
purposely did that just to front load.
I-
it.
Let's see,
I
the
like-
most well-known scene in all of the 30 years ago. Sure.
I like
Sorry,
Ghost
Jordan.
better when it was done in Hot Shots Part D.
Yes, I did too.
Nice.
Oh,
shit.
I
Problem
know this.
Child.
Problem
Yeah,
Child.
there you go.
Boom, yeah.
You
A
beat
movie
me
I
to
don't like, but
No, they remember it.
I remember it, but
Okay. And some of our
I think I was
guesses.
already at the age where I was not impressed by something like
By the
that.
way,
yeah,
there's,
I last watched it maybe 25 years ago.
Ooh, there's a good one.
Oh,
No, I thought it was the
God.
second.
Oh, God.
It's not a great
Die Hard
movie,
2.
but it's a good movie. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. I just watched that a few weeks ago.
I love the visuals in this movie, but this movie is definitely the weakest of the Die Hard movies until you get
Yeah.
to
Well, the
ones
original
after.
3, yeah.
I mean, I do still like the one where they're fighting cyber terrorists because it's just stupid enough to
Yeah,
work.
it was fine.
But it's not a good movie.
Yeah, it's. Well, I mean, yeah.
Die Hard movies don't exist after Bruce Willis lost his hair.
true.
Anytime you see John McClane bald, that is not John McClane.
It's just Die Hard name only.
That's just a
But-
generic Bruce Willis action movie that they
Yeah.
slap Die Hard on.
The one where he's actually in Russia is the worst movie I saw of that last.
I
5 years.
hated that
Horrible.
so
Yeah,
much.
fuck that.
John
always had
McClane
that-
does not drive on top of other people's cars, killing innocent people. That's
Yeah.
not a John McClane.
I got
movie.
to see that movie for free, and I still walked out angry. I was like,
That was
"God fucking
awful."
damn." I don't know what this one is.
Oh yeah. No, oh
seems
god,
familiar.
Predator 2?
Moonlighting.
it's not a Jurassic film. Oh, it's not that Connery film. Is this even animated? I can't tell on this.
It is not animated.
No.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I'll give a hint and see if this works. There you can see the poster in very small form, if that helps anyone.
That's too tiny for me to see.
Yeah, same.
Uh,
I was trying to help because that's all I've got to hit me sometimes, and I still don't know.
I feel like
John
there's
actually loves this film.
dinosaurs involved.
I don't know if he's still
don't-
talking about Die Hard 2 or this, so I don't know. I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead.
I give
see
up.
these guys-
Yeah, I'm stumped.
It's arachnophobia.
Oh, okay. Well.
Oh, right. True story. I took a date to that. My first date ever.
Okay.
We never dated again, and I've never seen the movie again. So
And it's
I'm
not
There we go.
okay.
I'm not
It's
sure I
so
remember
long
it.
since I've seen Arachnophobia.
None of that evening was memorable, including the movie. Oh, short time.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Short time.
No,
Nope.
fuck.
Small change. Small change.
Nope.
National Lampoon.
Short
Loaded Weapon.
change.
You're getting close.
God damn it.
It's Bill Murray.
It's the only movie Bill Murray ever directed.
Shit.
It was
One of my
Randy
friends from high school
Quaid.
was a huge fan of this
Oh!
movie, too.
It's not short change.
Somebody
Small
says
change,
quick
small
change. Dennis
Quick
says
change.
quick change.
God damn it.
Yeah, I knew it was quick
Good
something.
call, Den. All right. Dennis was right. It's quick
Yeah.
change. That's a solid little movie.
Bill Murray, Gina Davis, Randy. I've never seen this movie.
Oh, dude,
It's
it's
worth
really
checking
Yeah,
out.
I had a friend in film school. She was a huge fan, or not huge. I remember her telling me she was a big fan of that movie. It's like one of her
I mean,
favorites.
it's got a great line where Bill Murray's trying to rob a bank dressed as a clown, and like
Yeah.
says,
I
what kind of clown are you? He's like, I don't know, the crying on the inside kind.
I almost went with Shakes the Clown because I was like, when I see a clown, I was like, oh yeah, Shakes, but that wasn't Shakes.
Okay,
All
God,
right.
I went through
So-
every variation of change I could think of.
All right.
Quick change.
So we're up to our last category, 40th anniversary, and I can already see the picture. And Nathan, you really got to get better at. making
Dude,
a
there
little
was
bit of-
It's Tron.
nothing that wasn't
no.
iconic.
That's your child. Oh, that's true. But this is
Tron, I'm leaving.
no.
Trying
this is
stuff for
the-
like another 2 years.
I will tell you, Nate. There are so many less iconic pictures in this from this movie.
Oh no.
What the hell,
Airplane.
Airplane.
Yeah,
Nate?
I'm sorry. I front loaded some of these. But
I
it's
just
like, all right,
goddamn
we'll just
watched
get
that like
past
2
that.
days
I
ago.
s-
I rewatched it on
I mean,
Netflix.
it's a cockpit with Julie Haggerty and oh god,
Leslie Nielsen.
Robert Hayes and Robert Hayes, but that's not
Hayes,
important
yeah.
right now.
It gets harder, motherfuckers.
You could have.
This is-
It gets harder. We're at the last decade. It gets
I
harder in
know.
the later in the last decade. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
This is my favorite comedy film.
Too
of all
easy,
time.
too
I
It was
easy.
adore
actually supposed to be the first one, but yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have had, the picture of stewardess. I speak jive. That would have been harder to pick up
I
on.
still, I would have
That-
gotten
I
that.
probably
right.
sold it down that one.
Yes, but it wouldn't have been as easy as this picture.
That's fair.
Okay.
All right, let's wait for Marco to get back with another beer. So since it's his decade, he needs.
Yeah.
He'll feel cheated if we only showed him.
By the way, the language course I took in high school actually was jive.
Good for
That's
you.
awesome. I'm gonna see if quick change is available anywhere while we're doing this.
Yeah.
Quick Change is fantastic. It's got
Although now that I brought up, I kind of want to watch Shakes the Clown. I know I have a DVD, but somewhere hidden around here.
watch that back to back. Death to Smoochie.
I
Yeah.
I do love
remember.
Death to Smoochie.
I do love this movie as
I
well.
remember Bill Murray directed a movie. I just honestly have forgotten about it, and
Quick
I've,
Change
I,
is-
I've honestly never seen it.
It's
It's
really
only
fucking
free
good.
on Vudu with ads, and I'm not.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Vudu.
okay. Well, I got Voodoo.
Quick
so.
changes? Okay.
You're the
I
one.
mean,
person
you
with
can do a
Vudu?
whole lot worse than that, I guess. I don't know. I only use Voodoo for like my digital copies that I choose to keep.
I don't even do that. I can rent it for $2.99 on Amazon.
I mean,
That's fine by
well,
me.
It's
without
worth it.
Voodoo, I mean, yeah.
The only movies I've streamed for free on Voodoo was Battle Royale 2 because my Blu-ray wasn't working, and Idle Hands because I was the only way to watch Idle Hands.
well,
last
that's
Halloween.
how Voodoo's how I recently rewatched Falling Down.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I love
Okay.
Falling
So-
Down.
Yeah.
Next
same.
one up, easy.
Caddyshack.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sure.
Like.
It was
this
another
is-
one where it was hard to find like an obscure picture of it, but I'm also like, I'd cobble this together in an hour, guys. Don't
No,
fucking attack me.
that is a more obscure picture. You get points for that one.
Oh,
But it is
totally.
but that movie again is incredibly.
Yeah,
easy.
I'm surprised you just said it's a picture of a fucking.
That's
gopher.
why I put it in the front.
Yeah, and Dennis again. The commentary for Airplane is pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right. Next up. Okay, bit harder.
Oh,
Okay.
It's not Blue
I-
Steel.
I actually noticed.
Which of the
that
Halloween movies is it? No, I'm wrong.
It is none
Dress
of
to
those.
Kill.
Yes, Jordan.
Yeah, okay. It is
Uh,
Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
I
Okay.
remember this because I had just seen Netflix's documentary Disclosure, which I highly recommend everybody see because it is about transgender representation throughout the time and throughout time in media.
Okay.
And they've brought this movie up as an example of how, and along with Psycho, about how some people honestly do see transgender people or even cross-dressing just be like, oh, it's like, oh, they're evil, doing all
Yeah,
this.
it's very
Which is the
much
trick he'd do again in the
It-
90s
Yeah.
with John Lithgow, whatever that.
And
movie
they
was.
brought up and they did bring up the Crying Game, which I forever hate that fucking movie.
Yeah.
This movie is very much a Hitchcock Giallo riff.
Yeah.
I have not seen it.
It's another one of those times where De Palma's like, look how much I love Alfred, and I was like, we get it, dude. Okay.
Yeah, my favorite De Palma is the next decade over, or the next year over, but
Fair enough.
I still stand Phantom of the Paradise.
Shit.
Used cars.
Used cars.
Shit.
Correct.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I do love used cars. For some reason, my brain was thinking Cadillac Man. I'm like, no, that wasn't 40 years ago. That was 30.
Used cars, was that Zemeckis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the very first things I saw Kurt Russell on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It is
There you
a
go.
really, really good, really oddball kind of comedy. Like it's really,
I love it so
it's
much.
twisted in the best ways. I really do love it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
Ooh, I know this too.
Looks familiar.
Shit.
Uh,
I haven't seen this in a long time, but it's ringing a bell.
me
Jeez.
too, but I can't.
No, that's not
Oh, I just saw the
Uh,
poster picture in the little frame I have, and I know it now. But shit, I have not seen that in forever. Wow.
I want to say it's
It's not a Carpenter film.
It is
No.
not a Carpenter film.
No,
Yeah.
but
That's what I
it is. It is that. it
I
is
can't
like
even
that
recognize the actor.
Oh,
yeah.
the moment where I was thinking the thing, but that's like 82, I think. That's when that came
Oh,
No,
out.
I know
I'll
it wasn't
say,
the thing.
It is some good practical effects, and it's more creature feature.
1980.
Written by John Sayles, if that helps anybody.
Written by John
Oh,
Sayles.
Gator, Piranha.
You're pretty fucking
Gator,
close
Piranha
to the first
2.
one.
I give up.
I know.
Gator.
I'm gonna give-
Oh
I'm
God,
gonna
I
give Gator because
Gator.
I'm giving
No,
him Gator
Gator-
because that's what he meant.
No, but
Gator is the
no,
Oh,
first
Gator-
starring Robert Forster.
No, Gator
Okay.
was a Toby Hooper movie. Alligator was the one that was co-written by John Sayles. Okay.
Gator
Yeah.
is also directed by
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds and is the sequel to White Lightning. And
That's what I was saying. is
I'm
I
thinking
think
of a different
that's,
movie then.
that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
Alligator is what I think he
Archer,
meant.
we know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
what
I
was-
see that Robert Forster's
Toby
in it, so
Hooper
okay,
did?
cool.
yeah,
Maybe it was Crocodile. I'm thinking.
I have not seen Alligator in ages. It is a fun
Never seen
creature
it.
feature
It's
movie.
been a while since I've seen that.
It's probably been
Try-
at least 20 years.
try taking a drink every time you're confused what city it's set in. It becomes even more confusing as you go.
A
I was
few
gonna say-
years ago, I would have done that.
Can I take a drink every time they're confused with city it's set in?
I just take a drink every time I'm confused.
It helps.
Yeah. Boy.
Good picture choice
Creep
for
show.
whatever this is.
Looks familiar.
It's Creep Show.
Nope,
Oh,
Phantasm. No.
nope. But it is a slasher film,
and
and it's probably the last
Nightmare on
time.
Elm Street. No.
No, that was like
the choice of
84.
Leslie
It-
Nielsen
it's
is a
real.
wonderful troll.
Wait, and is that Leslie
Yeah.
Nielsen?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's
That
probably
is
the
Leslie-
last
I'm
time.
looking at it.
Okay, but it's Leslie Nielsen, but it's not Creepshow?
Okay,
Nope.
that's why I thought it was
He
Creep
played
Show.
serious some other times, but
Oh, yeah,
this is probably the
plenty.
last
That's true.
notable
No, you're
role
right.
or major
Yeah.
role he had playing.
He started as a
serious.
serious
Yeah.
actor, so.
Well, no, Nathan was trying to
I
say
give-
last time, since this.
I
he
give
hasn't-
up. This one's stumping.
Slasher
me.
movie
Dennis
with
is saying
Leslie
Carrie.
Nielsen.
No, it's not Carrie.
No, I would have. I would have remembered
Carrie's
Leslie
not a
Nielsen
slasher.
in any of
That's my
them.
point. So,
Yeah, so.
problem
Right.
number
Oh,
very
okay.
I
close,
love it.
Dennis.
I love the
Okay.
original. I love the original prom night. Shit, I should have gotten that.
Is there a way for me to blow this screen up? Because this is so small. I'm watching on the StreamYard screen, but
It should be if you have it full screen. It should be most of
I
your
can't go
screen.
full screen. Oh, but if I watch
think
it on
this is
Facebook.
the last one.
Oh, well, okay.
Marco, we had this
It's good.
discussion the other night when you were streaming with us and we tried to share screens. I don't know what your setup looks like, but it's terrifying to me.
It works for me usually. Let's go.
This might be the last one. I'm not sure.
It is
Maybe
the
there's
last one. That is
Okay.
the end.
I literally had just woken up when I cobbled this together. That's why I was like, "Fuck it, airplane.
Yeah. So,
Fuck it, ghost.
Fucker Ghost is.
Oh, that is the last one. Okay.
Fuck it,
Yeah.
ghost is what
So-
I watched happen in MacGruber a couple days
Oh, wait,
ago.
that was the last one?
That is
Yeah,
the last
okay.
one. So,
Yeah.
you've been here for about an hour and a half, which is long past Chris's usual runtime. Does anyone else have anything to ask, anything to say? Audience, if you have any questions for us, real quick, we'd like to answer a couple, but we're about out of time.
Well, for one thing, I do have, again, my film, Mercer County, You're on the Air, which is on YouTube and Vimeo.
Sellout. Sorry.
I am a sellout. Don't fucking judge me. Um,
Not selling out, you're buying in.
yeah. And I'm working on some more anime projects. I'm just trying to get the scripts perfect on the next big one.
I just put up the latest chapter of my online story, Cold Comfort, on deepest corners of my notebook, which you can search for on WordPress. The latest is chapter 28, and I'm actually getting close to wrapping it up. And then, I got my own projects. I'm also working on writing, what I can share and can't. And I will still be writing on deepest corners of my notebook. Like the next story I'm gonna do is definitely gonna be heavily about queer representation, because as a queer artist and writer myself, I feel like I need to add definitely more to the representation.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm employed now, so that's cool.
Yay!
Hey, good for you.
Employment is always good.
Yeah,
Employed.
definitely. Beyond that, you'll hear me on One of Us. We actually have Unsolved Mysteries coming up pretty soon, which was a fucking funny review. It was so funny to do.
Yeah, I think I heard Real Ass recording that last night.
And you can hear me gush over Charlize Theron soon.
Speaking of Unsolved Mysteries, I think we can all agree that the dad did it, right? On the
the dad definitely
the
did
salon lady. Yeah, the dad did it.
I still need to watch.
When you're talking about a murder that happened and your victim, the person who was killed, you keep them in your closet with ashes, and you're like, I won't let anybody else see or touch the ashes. You don't let
her biological son have it.
Motherfucker,
you fucking did it.
If you didn't do it, then the cops did it. Hashtag the cops did it.
I know some of these words.
He absolutely did it.
Beyond that, that's about it. I am seeing only Good Night and Morning Bye from Dennis.
Yeah, exactly. Marco, what you have to promote besides your alcoholism?
Well, I'm a man who sticks to his passions. Pandemic has wiped out all of my other gigs.
That's very true.
I might have been sending some stuff off to London around this time, but the world ended. And other than that, I don't talk about things that aren't ready.
That's fair.
However, I will say, keep watching good movies, keep watching good TV.
Yeah.
And, be safe out there, everybody, because we want you back in the theaters when all of this shit finally blows over.
Also, wear your fucking masks.
Yes, wear your fucking mask.
Fuck's sake, wear your
mask,
jackals.
Otherwise, we got.
If you don't wear a mask, you're not an American patriot.
You don't even try to put that word out there, because somebody's gonna fight us about it and gonna fucking have to chase them down.
Yeah,
but otherwise, we have a lot of great reviews coming out next week. We actually talked a little bit before that. Me and Marco are recording one again next week. So lots coming out there. Otherwise, this show will be back most likely with Chris in a week. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back with Unstable Top Gamers, where we might try something a little bit new. We might try the same thing. Depends on how much I'm drinking during the weeks in between.
Or how much you enjoy watching an old man trying to figure out new technology.
We taught you Quiplash, Marco. It's okay.
You taught me well. But the real question is, when Chris comes back, when he watches this, he's going to either go, maybe I can let them do this all the time. Or he'll go, fuck, never again. Never again will they do it without me.
I think it's going to be the latter.
I will say, I liked us showing Nate what it's like to be the host with a bunch of us jackals trying to talk over him. Because I kept seeing his face, him trying to say something for the next news story. And then he's like,
we're making the story better, Nate.
Oh, you guys were.
Saying,
totally.
We're improving it.
Also, I managed to actually be on a full episode.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
Jordan proves technology works if you invest money in it, and we're all poor.
And had some extra birthday cash lying around.
That's the best kind of extra cash.
All right. Well, good night to all of you wonderful One of Us folks that are listening, and we'll see you in a week.
Good night, everybody.
Wear your mask.
Ciao.